Hi guys, it's Sherry. I hope that you're having a fantastic day. Y'all, today we are going to repurpose some paper. Stay tuned. Welcome everyone to my channel, and a big thank you to everyone who has bought me a coffee, and a special thank you to everyone who is a member of my monthly members group, because that above and beyond support that you show me when you buy me a cup of coffee or you participate in my monthly members group really does help me to keep this awesome channel running. So thank you so much. So today we're going to repurpose some paper, and we're going to take that paper and turn it into a sweet little journal. This journal is going to have a definite romantic flair, and it's going to be one that's easily refillable. So here is one of the journals that I've made, and I'll give you a closer look at it once we get ready to go over what's needed to make it. So I hope that you're going to like this little project as much as I do. So y'all know what time it is? It's time to make it. All right, y'all, so here's a closer look at that wonderful romantic little journal that we're going to make, and we're going to repurpose paper in order to make it. So we have a 3-ring clip holding it together, and I'll show you what that is in just a minute. And so when you open it, we have this beautiful lined paper, looks like cherry blossoms with a sweet little bird. This is the paper that we're actually repurposing. So this will be super easy to make. It will make a wonderful gift, a wonderful craft fair seller, or you can keep it for yourself. Here's what we're going to need. So on this project, I am going to be using the Romantic Collection from Stamperia. And I'll just give you a quick look at this pad because there are just wonderful pages. Then you have some really sweet cut aparts, and you're able to use these pages just to create wonderful projects of all types. Then I have some of the coordinating chipboard pieces from that same collection that I'll be using. And so I have a paper pad that I bought from Tuesday Morning. It has a bunch of sheets on it. I think this pad might have had 200 sheets on it. So I'm able to take this pad, section it off into sheets of 40, and that way I am able to make quite a few of these little journals. So what I did was I took 40 sheets away from this pad, and I cut it down to 4 7/8 by 5 1/4. And then I have 2 pieces of 5 by 5.5 inch chipboard, and I took 1 piece of the 12 by 12 from that paper pad, and I cut it down into 2 strips of 6 by 12. And then I'll be using this, and what this is, it has 3 rings on it, and it's just a little mini notebook holder. Now all of these open independently, and that way when you punch your holes, you're able to slip this through, and then you can add your paper. And not only does that make it refillable, but if you wanted to put some little pieces of ephemera inside, you could actually punch holes in that and just stick it through as well. And then to help with my placement, I took this piece and created a template so I'll know where to punch my holes, and I'll show you guys how I did that in just a minute. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to remove the tape backers from my chipboard pieces, and I'm going to place them down. Now when I place this down, I'm going to place it down so that I have about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. So let's go ahead and place that. And I'll go ahead and do this one as well. And so I'll take this one and I'm going to place it about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom. I'll flip it over and get everything nice and stuck. And then I'm just going to take this, and on all 4 sides, I'm going to do a fold over. And let's just go ahead and do it on both. And so I have my paper ready to be folded over. What I'm going to do is I am going to miter here at the end. So that edge will be like that. And I'll do the same thing here. So that edge will be like that. Then I'm going to come right up to this point of the chipboard, and I'm going to notch out a V like that. Come over to this side, do the same thing. Notch out that V. Then I'll take my finger blade, go right to the point of that V, and I'm just going to angle in as I come down. And it's a slight angle, so when I fold over, you can see that it's not too much of an angle. And I'll do the same thing over here. So I'll go to the point of that V, and then as I'm going down, I'm going to angle in. So now I can remove the tape here. Just peeling away those tape backers. Now I can take these pieces, fold them over, take this piece, fold it over. I'm going to take my tape runner, add some tape right there, bring this up and fold it over. And now I'll use my big old spatula to make sure that I have everything nice and stuck. And then I'm going to take my tape and I'll place tape along the edges here. And then I'll peel away my tape backer. And I'll take this piece, starting at the top. Let's go ahead and get that folded over. And then I'll use my big old spatula to guide it down. Then if I have any overhang, and I do, I'm just going to remove that with my finger blade. So now I have one journal cover completely done, front and back, because we used the wraparound liner method. So we don't need to add any more liner paper to that. We're going to do the same thing here. We'll come to the end, and we're going to notch out that miter. And we'll do that here as well. Then we're going to come up to the point of that chipboard and notch out our V. And do the same thing over here. And then I'll come to the edge of that V and just drag down, angling in slightly. And I'll do the same thing over here. So now I can take my tape, place my tape on these three edges. And I'll peel away those tape backers. And so now we can remove the backers from here. I'll take these side pieces, fold them over. Then I'm going to take my tape runner, add some tape right there to the edges here. Fold that over. And get that nice and stuck. So now I can take this piece, I'm going to stand it up first. And then I'll use my big old spatula just to sort of walk everything down to get it stuck. And then I'll look to see if I have any overhang. I have just a little bit, and I'll remove that. So now I have my 2 jackets for this project. And I am going to show you guys how I made my template if you decide to use rings like this. So I opened them up. I took my chipboard, and I knew that I didn't want to go all the way in, so I just positioned it where I wanted it, and I just squeezed to get an impression on the chipboard. Now you might not be able to see it, but I have 3 holes on this chipboard. Then I took my hole punch and I just went back over those holes and punched, and that is how I got my guide. So now that I have my guide, I'm just going to take it and place it down where I want it to be. Then I can bring in my hole punch, and I'll just take that hole punch, put it in that hole, and make my punch. And then I'll do the same thing with the other 2 holes. So I'll find that hole and punch. Find my hole. And punch. So now hopefully you're able to see that I have 3 holes in this book. So I'm going to take the back cover with the inside liner facing up, put this one on top, and repeat that process. I am just going to use this as my guide, and I'll punch. And then I'll do the same thing with the other 2. And so now I have holes that are pretty evenly matched. So I'm going to take those sheets that I cut down. These papers are joined at the top, which is a good thing. So I'm just going to take these. I split them in half. I'm going to line them up with that jacket. And then I'm just going to punch. And by doing it this way, I know that I have my holes nice and aligned. So I'll do that last one. So I have my holes punched in my paper. So I'm going to bring in that other half, use this as my guide, and I'll just punch my holes. So now that I have my holes punched, all I'm going to do is I want these to be loose pieces in the journal. So I'm just going to tear them away from that strip that goes across the top. But it's better to leave them all joined when you're punching the holes. That way you know that you have them all aligned and nothing slipped. And then I'll do the same thing with this group. And so now that we have all of our holes punched, we can take our ring. I'm going to put the ring through the back first, and then I can take my papers and just put them in the way that you would with any notebook. And then once I have all of my papers in, I can take the front cover, put it on, and then just snap them closed. And so now we have our second sweet little notebook. I'm going to go ahead and do some very light decorating to this, not a whole lot. So I have these pieces, and I'm going to play off of the word love. And it says, remember today. And I'm just going to take those pieces and put them on just like that. So I'm going to bring in my glue. Take this piece, add some glue to the back. Thought these were stickers, but I couldn't get them unstuck, so I'm just going to leave it and put it down with my glue. Then I'm going to take this piece, put it right there, Just adding these pieces to give it that little romantic feel. And then I'll put that right there. So I'm just going to add some glue to the back of that lace. Place it down. Add a little bit of glue there. Place that down. It'll dry very quickly. And now we have our second sweet little notebook that we made using some chipboard and some pre-printed notepad paper. Here's another one that I got from Tuesday Morning. You can see how much paper you actually get on here, and I think this was $6.99 when I bought it. So you get 100 sheets on here. This one, you can actually take it and cut it in half, which means that you're going to have 200 sheets if you're making little journals that are this size. But instead of making a large journal, we can take these papers and repurpose them and turn them into little mini pocketbook size journals. So I'm opening these so you'll have a look at the inside. And if you want, you can embellish here. You can add pieces of ephemera, like I said, but you have this romantic Victorian style notebook that I think anyone would love to have. So guys, I hope that you have liked this project. If you have, please hit the like button. If you are not a subscriber to my channel, I would love to have you join my awesome online crafting family. You guys, as always, please be safe, be kind, happy crafting, and we'll chat later. Bye.